Welcome back to I Am One Everybody. Today's topic 2.1.3. How can I rewrite or undo it? And it says today I'll be able to solve equations that involve finding equivalent equations by using the undoing method. So we're going to be looking at, first of all, we're going to be looking at fraction busters. So fraction busters, examine the equation below. You have x over 6 minus 5 over 8 equals 4. And then question A says multiply each term by 6. What happened? And do any fractions remain? So we're going to multiply each term by 6. So what happens here in the first part, we have 6 times x over 6 is just x. These two divide out and give us 1. And then 6 over 8, so minus 6 times 5 is 30 over 8, and then equals 4 times 6, which is 24. So again, what happened and do any fractions remain? So the first fraction went away. So the first fraction went away, but we still have one more fraction. And then question B says, since fractions remained, decide how you can continue to change your equivalent equation from part A so that no fractions remain. So then solve the resulting equation. So again, one thing we can keep doing here is, again, if we multiplied by one denominator, which was 6, that's the reason why it went away. We can also multiply the entire equation in step 2 here by 8. So the second denominator goes away. So we're going to multiply everything by 8. And then 8. So the first term is going to be 8x, and then minus 8, and then this 8 divides out with that one, so you're just left with 30. And then 24 times 8, that gives you guys 192. And then from here, we're going to add 30 to both sides to solve for x, right? So we want to solve the resulting equation, so add 30 to both sides. And you're left with 8x equals 222. And then finally, just divide both sides by 8. And that leaves me with x equals. Now here, this fraction can be simplified. You can divide top and bottom by 2 to find an equivalent fraction. And that leaves us with 111 over 4. So part C, this method of eliminating fractions from equations is called fraction busters. Multiplying the equations by the denominators is a way to undo the fractions. So again, first we multiplied everything by 6, and that undid the first fraction. And then in our second step, we multiply everything by 8 to undo our second fraction. And then from there, we just simplify the same way we've been doing to solve for x by undoing, right? I undid the negative 30 by adding 30 to both sides. And then finally, I undid the 8 by dividing both sides by 8. So question 2 says you use one or more fraction busters to solve each equation. Check your answer in the original equation. So let's look at the first one right there. You have 5x over 3 plus 15 over 2 equals 5 over 2. So we're going to multiply everything by the first denominator, which is 3. So 3 there, and also 3 there. And again, that's going to eliminate the first one. So that leaves us with 5x. 3 times 15 is 45 over 2. And then equals, again, when you guys are multiplying fractions, again, go straight across. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 1 is 2. And then from here, we're going to keep going. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to eliminate the 2. So by multiplying everything by that. So everything multiplied by 2. Again, 2 times 5, that gives me 10x. And then this 2 goes away with that 2. And that leaves me with plus 45 just by itself. And then again, this 2 goes away with that 2. And that's equal to positive 15. And then from here, we're going to get rid of the positive 45. So I'm going to subtract 45 from both sides. That leaves you with 10x equals 45. 15 minus 45 is negative 30. Divide both sides by 10. and that equals x equals negative 3. And then on equation 2, we have two denominators. We have x, so we're going to multiply everything by x first. So x here, x there, and x over here as well. So that leaves us with 5 on the first one. Again, that eliminates that. And then minus 2x, just put them together, equals negative 11 over 8 times x. And then the next step would be to eliminate the 8. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation again by 8. So 8 here, everything by 8, everything by 8 here as well. 8 times 5 is 40, minus 8 times 2 is 16x, equals, and again, this 8 goes away with that one, and you're just left with negative 11x. Remember, when you guys are solving for an equation with variables on both sides, you want to make sure that you move the variables to the same side. So here, I want to add 16x to both sides. And that leaves me with 40 equals negative 16. I'm sorry, negative 11 plus 16x gives me positive 5x. Divide both sides by 5, and you get x equals positive 8. And then finally, example 3, you have 7 over 2x plus 3 over 2 equals 3.25. So here, what we want to do is, again, eliminate the denominators. We can leave that as a decimal. So we're going to do first, multiply everything by 2x. 2x goes here, 2x goes there. So the first one is going to get eliminated. That leaves you just with 7 plus 2x over 2. The 2's get eliminated, and here you're just left with positive 3x. And then 3.25 times 2x equals 6.5x. And then from here again, you want to move the x's to the same side. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. That leaves me with 7 equals 6.5 minus 3 is 3.5x. Divide both sides again. 3.5 times x, divide both sides by 3.5. And that leaves you with x equals positive 2.